There are so many other trains I could have chosen today. Before time, it's not the right time. Neither is it the right time after the time.
All Renault Meganes are positively bristling with equipment, but there's one feature a Renault Megane Classic gives you that no other Megane does. It's called a boot. Very comfy too.
Should be. It's bigger than the Ford Scorpios.
The new Megane Classic from 10,995 on the road. Good thinking, Renault.
Yes!
NBA jumps off with the All-Star Game live, Sunday, February 9th on 4.
Now on 4, live from the Superdome, New Orleans, Super Bowl 31.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free the wretched earthiness of your teeming shore.
I can feel it in there. Super Bowl is on its way.
The cards say the Packers are going to win on Sunday.
Goodbye, Green Bay! Patriots all the way! I think whoever has the best kicking game should win this year.
Yeah! Super Bowl 31.
Good evening from the city that invented good evenings, New Orleans. In about 25 minutes' time, the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots will take the field here at the Superdome for Super Bowl 31. And since it's the last game of the season, it's also our last chance to hear Marv Levy say this.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Well, personally, Marv, nowhere, but I know you'd rather be down on the sideline coaching the Buffalo Bills in a 5th Super Bowl appearance, and our second guest would rather be out there playing, because we're also joined tonight by Jim Harbaugh, quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, and a man who's been involved in some of the most exciting games we've shown you over the past couple of seasons. None of them more exciting than last year's AFC title game, where he and the Colts came within this desperate last-second pass of beating the Pittsburgh Steelers and going to the Super Bowl themselves. And Jim, if tonight's game's half as good as that one, we should be all right.
That's what we need in a Super Bowl, a Hail Mary pass right at the end to decide the game. Never know.
That may be too much to hope for, but Marv, almost right at the final whistle of the AFC game a couple of weeks ago, you installed Green Bay as favourites. Any reason to change your prognosis so far?
No, I don't think so. Green Bay is probably the stronger team in all categories, but New England's coming on very strong, and if they can take away the Green Bay punt return game, then they've got a big leg up in trying to upset them.
Of course, you both know how good the Patriots can be. You share a division with them. Build-up for New England to the Super Bowl probably began back in December when they won the AFC East title. In Green Bay, though, it started a bit earlier, about 1969. No team has a longer association with the Super Bowl than Green Bay, and no team has waited longer to get back there. The Packers won Super Bowl I in January 1967 against Kansas City, and the following year Vince Lombardi coached them to a repeat performance against the Raiders. Those 2 wins on top of 5 NFL championships turned the league's smallest city into title town. Saw Lombardi promoted from the position of head coach to somewhere just to the right of the Almighty.
Unless a man believes in himself and makes a total commitment to his career and puts everything he has into it, his mind, his body, and his heart, what's life worth to him?
The Packers have been trying to live up to Lombardi's standards ever since. Just in case they should ever forget, the NFL honored their old coach by putting his name on the Super Bowl trophy when he died. As well as history, Packers teams have their owners to answer to. Green Bay, still the NFL's smallest city with a stadium that can hold 2/3 of the population, is also the only club in the league owned by the fans. The result is a bond between players and public that exists nowhere else. With the brilliant Brett Favre at quarterback leading the league's best offense, it looks like Green Bay might finally be in a position to give their fans what they've been waiting nearly 3 decades for. And with the inspirational Reverend Reggie White leading pre-game prayers in the defense, this year's Packers might even have the support of the spectator sitting on Coach Lombardi's left. Well, you come back to us as we're midway through what is thankfully the last Macarena of the 1996-97 season. Let's hope so anyway. We saw Brett Favre at the end of the package there, Jim. As a quarterback, how highly do you rate him?
I rate him as the best quarterback in the National Football League. He's got the guts, he's got the strong arm, he's got a team that really believes in him. And I love the way he plays the game. He plays it with a lot of emotion, he's having fun out there, and he truly plays the game of football with passion.
And here you see, Marv, the way he scrambles. How do you coach against that?
It's difficult, and it's a tremendous, tremendous asset to have on your team, a quarterback that can move. You can play 3 downs and stop them, or 2 downs, say, we finally got him where we want him. We've got a good pass rush. We've got good covers. He scrambles for first down. They get 3 more chances. There is no one way to stop him.
And we'll get to that later. Well, let's get to it now. What is it?
I said there is no.
Oh, there is no way to stop him. It's so loud. I thought there's one way to stop him. I thought you were keeping it to yourself there for a second.
If I did know one way, I would keep it to myself.
And you'd be down there instead of up here. Jim, you talked about the passion he plays with, and that's something I think that actually worries Green Bay. Here's what Mike Holmgren, the head coach, had to say about Brett Favre's emotional state before the game.
He just is emotional. I mean, he loves the game so much, and he plays the game with so much enthusiasm that he just gets cranked up before a game. It's more like a linebacker than a quarterback.
And this can be the result. In last year's NFC Championship game, possibly the biggest one he's played, Jim, and he's done this a few times. He came out throwing rocket balls over receivers' heads. Is that a worry for the Packers today?
I don't think they're thinking about that at all. I don't think Brett Favre has that in his mind at all. That was just one game. You can't just say, oh, every time he plays in a big game, he's going to come out and miss his first 7 or 8 passes.
Would you be trying to calm him down if you were the coach, or would you just let him do his natural thing?
I don't think I'd make an overt effort to calm a team down or to fire a team up. I try to show a level-headedness, a concentration on the task at hand, and figure these are great athletes, and they're going to be nervous. They're going to have butterflies. I've coached for 50 years. I have butterflies.
Absolutely. Good point.
Talking about calming influences, if we turn to the defense, you have to start with Reggie White, who's not just a great player, but a great leader, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's been a tremendous player consistently over the years. He inspires his teammates around him. He sets a standard which they love to live up to. He's a likable guy, and that's important sometimes among your teammates. And great players make other players around them good. Reggie White has all those qualities.
Jim, he and Sean Jones, 2 of the veterans on the team who've waited a long, long time to get to a Super Bowl. You've got to think that, you know, they're going to come out and play well.
Well, absolutely. I think those are the rock-solid, steady guys in the middle. You almost get a feeling like it's their time to win a Super Bowl. They've been looking for this all their careers, and now they have a chance to do that. And right next to them is Gilbert Brown, and that guy's worth his weight in gold.
Well, you mentioned that, and it'd be worth a lot of money because Gilbert Brown, as his coach says, is a man who is a guy and a half wide. There's his favorite eating spot. They actually have a Gilbert burger in Green Bay. I think that's what contributes to his weight. This is the end product of it on the field, and he really stuffs up the middle. You can't get past him, can you?
How would you like to have been that guy running into Gilbert? I don't think I would have.
He really helps against the run, doesn't he, Marv?
Tremendously. You get those big guys in the middle like Leon Lett and Jumpy Geathers used to provide also. They help the outside pass rushers. They're very valuable, even though they don't log a lot of sacks. Tremendously valuable on defense.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break now. If you can't bear to be parted from the build-up for even a couple of minutes, though, there's always the internet if you can log on. If you do, please keep half an eye on the telly. We need to keep the advertisers happy. Back in a couple of minutes.
A type of beetle has evolved that, while it looks like any other beetle, has a more powerful muscle structure under its shell. And the only giveaway is a tiny marking on its rear.
Starting in tomorrow's 10p Times, you can enjoy a gourmet meal at one of 500 of the country's finest restaurants for just £5. Gourmet meals for just £5. See the free 40-page restaurant guide in tomorrow's 10p Times.
When I got rid of my grey hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used a sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes rinse. Especially timed to blend away grey, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, a sure thing for a natural look.
Men, is grey hair in your moustache making you look too old? You need Just for Men gel. Brush in, rinse out. Grey's gone in just 5 minutes.
For car glass, automatically think auto glass.
This overnight service from the UK really knocks me out.
Millie, the stripes, the stripes.
Clients just change their mind.
It's purple!
Overnight.
I got travel insurance from the post office back home. I got it while I was picking up my traveller's checks, so I'm fully covered.
I grow pineapples. I turn them into chunks. I sell them all over Europe. As for my invoices, I get the Royal Mail to send them from London to all my customers in one big chunk.
The post office, winning people over all over the world.
BT is offering free connection to an 0800 number, but frankly, is it really worth having?
This is a company that believes that shoes have things to say.
And Camper doesn't hit the fashion set, which is so fickle anyway.
Why should the 0800 number be so appealing?
The whole point of this campaign was to include a channel for people to be able to talk to us.
It does allow us to expand our customer base.
Why do they respond to the 0800 number?
The ad catches their eye, and when they see the 0800 number, it costs them nothing. The response has been absolutely phenomenal. We're not blindly advertising. It allows customers all over the UK to get in touch with us and speak to a human being.
Connection to BT's 0800 service is free until March 8th. Try it for 3 months. Call BT Business Connections on free phone 0800 800 800.
Oi! Come back and finish me off, you wimp! What's the matter? Too spicy for ya!
Pepperami. It's a bit of an animal.
Little tip for you. Best place to pick up a bird like me.
Supermarket!
Pepperami gobbler. It's a bit of all right.
Dip, dip, and tally-ho. Off to New Orleans we shall go. God save the Queen and all that walk. This is the game of hut, hut, hut. Not like soccer, it's American football. So we're gonna make this play for y'all. The New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. Let me tell you, man, for one team is a disaster. Gotta have a friend, you gotta have a foe. Over in London, y'all know the scope. But let me break it down, you never been here before. Here on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. They call me Dr. Geek, a woman rhyme machine. The Packer fans, the Patriot fans. I'm Dr. Geek and I'm the man. I can't make a prediction, but here's the scope. You gotta watch out for Brett Favre and Drew Bledsoe.
And if you buy the 12-inch, that goes on for about 8 minutes. We've got the build-up to the game to get on with, though, turning to New England. Now, the Patriots don't quite have the Packers' Super Bowl history, and the bit they have, they'd probably rather forget. That's not easy to do, though, because not only was there one previous Super Bowl appearance here in the Superdome, today is the 11th anniversary of it. On January the 26th, 1986, after 2 decades of trying, New England finally reached the Super Bowl, only to get their mascots kicked by the Bears 46 points to 10. 7 unproductive years later, the Patriots decided if they were ever going to get back to the Super Bowl, they better have a coach who knew the way. Enter Bill Parcells, who'd been there twice with the Giants and won them both. But whereas the Giants won with defense, this time around Parcells has custody of some of the best young offensive talent in the league. Quarterback Drew Bledsoe, receiver Terry Glenn, and running back Curtis Martin. The Patriots led the AFC in scoring this season, and Parcells has led them to the Super Bowl sooner than anyone expected.
I believe that he brings out the best in each and every individual. And I believe he has his own technique and own way of getting into each person's mind or whatever it is to bring out the best in them.
Parcells left it late in the season to get the best out of his defense, but it's not really the team everyone's talking about in the run-up to the Super Bowl. It's whether their coach will do what he did last time he won one and resign. The problem is a long-running struggle with Patriots owner Bob Kraft about who makes the decisions. The solution, according to the sports pages, could be a departure as early as next week for his old stomping ground, New York, to try his resurrection act on the Jets. This week, when he'd rather have been preparing his team, Parcells had to take time out to stomp on the rumors.
I'm not going to discuss this, gentlemen. Next question. Nothing's changed. Just because there's another report out, it doesn't make it different. Nothing's changed. This is old news, and that's the last question I'm fielding on it tonight.
Well, it may be the last question Bill's fielding. It's not necessarily the last one we're going to ask, because apart from the obvious question of what he's going to do after the game, there's also the big question about how much of an effect it's having on his players. Here's what they've had to say about it this week.
We've heard all this stuff about Bill and what's going to happen. It started last year, and at this point, anything, nothing is going to break this team's concentration.
No one's really even thinking about that right now. And that's something that's in the future, and that's his business, and the team is not in his business, and that's the way we're going to handle it.
He's a very successful coach, so whatever he does, okay, it'll be the best for him and his family. Me, David Maggott, you know what I'm saying? I can't worry about that. You know, I don't control Parcells.
Jim, that's what they're saying in public, towing the party line. You think they're telling the truth?
I think it's a distraction, but I think they're telling the truth when you listen to them say it themselves. Nothing's going to break their focus. Nothing's going to break their concentration. This is the biggest game of their lives on the biggest stage in the world, and they're going to have their moment.
Marv, do you think there's any respect in which it could be an advantage that everyone's talking about Parcells? It's almost as though it's Parcells versus the Packers. Could be taking a bit of pressure off his team.
No, I don't think that either.
I'm wrong on all counts.
There's all types of theories that can be projected, and possibly it's the case. Nevertheless, I think the players are so intent on this game that they're able to put aside distractions. There are bigger distractions than that one, because you hear rumors floating around all the time.
Now, Jim, Drew Bledsoe, only 24 years old, obviously a phenomenal talent. You play against him twice a year. He's a very different player from Brett Favre, isn't he?
A little bit different in that he's more of a drop-back passer. He's not going to run around. You're not going to see the scrambles. But what you are going to see him do is go back in the pocket, be aggressive, get the ball downfield to guys like Terry Glenn, Jefferson, Coach, the big tight end, and a very talented quarterback, one of the best in the league. And New England's chances really rest with him today.
Coming into this game, though, Marv, and it's all about form, I suppose, really. He hasn't had a great playoffs. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
No, he hasn't had a great playoffs in terms of statistics, but those things tend to ride a little bit in cycles. He's a fine quarterback with great command of his offense and tremendous weapons. I actually think the skilled position players on the New England Patriots are a bit stronger than the very fine skilled position players on their opponent.
And I know that you've been very impressed with their rookie wide receiver, Terry Glenn.
Very much so. Their offense came alive after Terry Glenn went through a preseason of injuries. Here you see him catching a touchdown pass. He's been outstanding, I think. He's made Ben Coates more dangerous. Here he's catching a great pass, unfortunately, against the Buffalo Bills for a touchdown. And he's really come alive and brought that offense to life.
So we'd sneak it in just to make sure you're paying attention. Jim, they've shown they can strike quickly. Is that something they need to do today?
I think so. They're going to try to get the ball downfield any way they can. I think it's really going to be important for them to establish Curtis Martin in the running game at some point in this ball game, whether they open up with a pass or open up with a run. They need to get him involved. That's going to make Drew Bledsoe's drop-back game better, his play-action passing game better, and maybe most importantly, keep the Packers' offense off the field.
You mentioned Curtis Martin there, Jim. Marv, this game's on AstroTurf. Packers don't usually do well on AstroTurf, and you've got a runner with good cuts who likes to move on AstroTurf.
I think the game being on AstroTurf, if you're straining to find advantages, advantage New England here. Curtis Martin very quick. Both teams play their games on grass at home. I think it also will help slow down, it will help the pass rushers get at Favre, quick pass rushers, more than it would if they were playing on a grass field.
Well, you mentioned the defense there, and Jim, you have first-hand evidence of how good the Patriots defense can be this season, don't you?
Well, that's true. In the games that I played against New England, one game they broke my nose, another game they broke tore the MCL in my knee. So these guys are really quick. And like Coach said, Slade, McGinnis, when they get on this AstroTurf, they are so quick coming around the edges, coming around the corners on the defense. I think Green Bay may have a problem there. Let's watch their offensive tackles in this game and see if they can contain those two guys.
Ironically, what perhaps turned their season around on defense was a bad game. In Week 12, they played Denver at home. It was supposed to be a big test of their defense, and it failed it miserably. Here you see Terrell Davis catching a pass from John Elway, going in, past a few missed tackles for a touchdown, and here he is again a little bit later. Poor tackling in that game, but ever since they've tightened things up, Marv, and haven't given up a touchdown in the playoffs.
Their defense has improved markedly through the season. They did a great job against Natron Means, the fine runner from Jacksonville in the AFC Championship game. And they have gotten better and better than their statistics would indicate defensively.
They held Bettis to 43 yards in the playoff, Means to 43 yards in the playoffs. Both good runners. Do you think the Green Bay running game, even though it's improved, is good enough to take that on?
I think Green Bay has a very good running game. They have so many weapons. That's what's so great about Green Bay. You know, they've got Favre, they got Bennett, they got Dorsey Levens, good tight end in Shamura, 3 excellent wide receivers. And Holmgren does a great job of using those weapons. So Green Bay's got a lot they can come at you with.
Well, as you can imagine, the Super Bowl is having a substantial impact on New Orleans, but in relative terms, that's nothing to the impact it's having on the tiny town of Kiel, Mississippi, just over an hour's drive away from here and home of Packers quarterback Brett Favre. And just in case you were going to drive through without noticing, there's a sign to that effect as you enter. Otherwise, Kiel has the standard issue mangy hound, post office, and single traffic light. A typical Mississippi backwater, in other words, but one that's been ceded temporarily this weekend to Wisconsin.
Back in the 80s by the Mississippi shore was the last time for the football war. Papa was a coach, he showed the way. Train, fight, win was the formula.
That's local musician Stevie T's tribute to Brett. And here's where he probably got his inspiration. Kiel's answer to Bourbon Street, the Broke Spoke, which is chosen to mark this historic weekend by painting the Privy.
There's a caravan coming in from Green Bay, and we're going to have crawfish, and we're going to just have all kind of food. Jambalaya, chicken, gumbo, potato salad, beans. Shoot, we might have some rabbit spaghetti if we can get some rabbits.
Well, I've been a Packer fan since 1942, and I saw my first Packer game in 1942, and I remember the first 2 Super Bowls, and we're in the South right now for the winter, and we just came down here to celebrate the Super Bowl, and we just wanted to be down here in Brett Favre's hometown.
A convoy of about 500 is expected in from Green Bay this weekend. Good news for Dolly over at the Quick Stop, who had the foresight to bulk buy some Brett souvenirs. Last time she went to the wholesalers to stock up on her usual orders.
The mug sold better than the pickled pig lips and the pickled pig feet.
Hey, Brett's on the quest, he's Super Bowl bound. Guaranteed not to let us down. He's got great teammates around. Brett's on the quest, he's Super Bowl bound.
Fox Quest by CVT, available at all leading record stores. And Marv, we're having a chuckle at that, but you've been to 4 Super Bowls, and he's probably got half the town down wanting tickets, pestering him. There must be a great deal of distraction for players and coaches.
There's a lot of distraction. You have to have a program to overcome it. And the coach, wisely so, will have outlined that program before they come to the game site. A player ought to assign some member of his family or some trusted friend to handle all the ticket concerns he has, so he can keep his mind on the right issue.
Now, the Packers have stayed downtown. Bill Parcells, 2 days before the game, they had been staying downtown, took his team away to a secluded retreat. Which do you favor?
Well, I'll tell you, we've done both. And after we lost one of our Super Bowl games, we were riding on the bus back to the hotel. Our then general manager, Bill Polian, said to me, Marv, you know the only thing that counts? What you do after you show up at the stadium. And that's right.
We're going to find that out shortly. Jim, a little bit of time left before the player introductions start. Let's have a look at a sort of X factor, something that could throw the game. And I'm thinking first about Desmond Howard, the punt returner for the Packers.
Well, he's already shown in the playoffs that he can turn a game around. He's from the great University of Michigan, where he's played his college ball. And you never know. It could be a factor. Like Coach Levy said earlier, though, what New England does so well is their punt block and their punt coverage. So could take Desmond out of the game. Two good special teams units there going head-to-head.
If I didn't know you better, I'd think you were getting in a plug for your old university there.
Just a little.
On the other side of the ball, the Patriots punt coverage team is pretty good too, so that could be an interesting battle.
Yes, they're a huge factor in their win against Jacksonville. Here, Jacksonville trying to punt on their first series. They put on a great punt rush there, even though it was an errant snap. Tackled them in the 4-yard line, got their first touchdown. Then later in the same quarter, I believe, here's their coverage unit forcing a fumble, which they recover, and they converted that into a score. Those are huge plays.
How much of a game of field position do you think it might be?
Well, I think, you know, field position is important, and turnovers usually affect those. But there are 4 or 5 big plays in the game that I think usually determine the outcome. Everybody always wants field position. It doesn't always work that way. Get the big plays and you'll have field position.
Jim, we've talked about special teams there on either side. What other things do you think might be the deciding factors in this one?
Turnovers. Turnovers always play a big key in any NFL game, and it's something that if New England can get a couple turnovers, avoid turnovers early, this could be a very close game, and that could be the deciding factor that could give New England a win.
All right, well, we're going to let the public address announcers take over for a short while now, because the teams are about to be introduced, and we're going to start off with the away team. They're the away team for the purposes of the Super Bowl, so they don't get to dress in their home jerseys. Packers get to dress in green. They have to play in their away strip of white. It's the New England Patriots about to be introduced here at the Superdome.
And now, here are the Patriots defensive starters. At left end, from California, number 92, Barrick Collins. At left tackle, from Texas A&M, number 97, Mark Wheeler. At right tackle, from San Diego State, number 75, Pio Sangapulatelli. At right end, from Southern California, number 55, Willie McGinnis. At left linebacker, from Virginia, number 53, Chris Slade. At middle linebacker, from Colorado, number 52, Ted Johnson. At right linebacker, from Carson Newman, number 59, Todd Collins. At left cornerback, from Michigan, number 24, Ty Law. right cornerback from Missouri, number 45, Otis Smith. At strong safety from Washington, number 36, Lawyer Malloy. At free safety from Georgia Tech, number 32, Willie Clay. And the head coach of the Patriots, Bill Parcells.
If a face could only talk, Bill Parcells, as you could tell by just looking at him, has a lot to say. And now the Packers undergoing that same wait back of the tunnel as they prepare to be introduced. And again, let's send you back to Paul Olden.
And now for the National Football Conference champion, Green Bay Packers. Let's meet the Packers defensive starters. At free safety from Colgate, number 41, Eugene Robinson. At strong safety from Florida State, number 36, Leroy Butler. At right cornerback from Louisiana Tech, number 33, Doug Evans. At left cornerback from Arizona State, number 21, Craig Newsom. At right outside linebacker from Southern California, number 51, Brian Williams. At middle linebacker from Fresno State, number 54, Ron Cox. At left outside linebacker from Clemson, number 59, Wayne Simmons. At right end from Northeastern, number 96, Sean Jones. At nose tackle from Kansas, number 93, Gilbert Brown. At defensive tackle from Baylor, number 71, Santana Dotson. At left end from Tennessee, number 92, Reggie White. And the head coach of the Packers, Mike Holmgren.
Hold me for a second. It is fucking incredible to me how much we fucking achieved this year, and still nobody expects it. This ain't no fucking game. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Dominate. Let's go.
Well, there's the first difference between the two teams. Holmgren opting for the run out, and Bill Parcells, who has had a heart bypass operation, deciding to stay put. Marv, we were talking about it during the break. It's almost a pity that only one half of the team gets introduced, either the offense or the defense.
Well, it is certainly in a game like this. Both coaches opted to. We used to flip a coin which team would get there, because it is an honor to be introduced in this game, definitely.
All right, you've heard us rambling on for a good 25 minutes, half an hour now. Let's hear something of what the players have had to say this week in the run-up to the game.
I mean, this is the biggest game, you know, in my career, and all of our career, and it's going to be seen before the world.
You look forward to this the whole entire year. You know, you have 6 tough weeks of training camp, 16 regular season games, and 2 postseason games, and now it's like, can we get on with this thing now?
This is the Terror-Dome for the Super Bowl. It's a horror flick. It's not going to be nice for a certain group of people.
Crazy. Real crazy.
We had to get pressure all over to stop this guy. You know, we had to have guys coming from everywhere, parachuting in to try to stop him.
I'll eat alligators, but I won't swim with them.
Could I get a vote for flapjacks?
Flapjacks? Flapjacks are good, too.
Obviously, we can't do that. We can give him some cheese and stuff like that, you know.
No curfew tonight. Curfew starts tomorrow.
Everything goes pretty smoothly until Thursday when all your wives show up, you know. My wife didn't like that.
It's great to be in a position where you knew you weren't the only crazy person in the asylum. Now everyone's figured it out.
We put them back in the cages at about 10 o'clock at night, and then we let them out about 8 in the morning for a meeting.
I think it's common knowledge what a great person Reggie is, and I said many times that he is the real thing. You know, what he says he means. There's no flim-flam there. He's a good guy.
We'll kill him, man.
Did you ever put on one of those cheeseheads?
No. I'll tell you what, next time I fly in a little plane more.
Everything I'd hoped it would be and more, but I'm glad it's over.
Mark Chimura there talking about wearing a cheesehead next time he flies in a small plane. There was an incident last year where a Green Bay fan was flying home from Chicago after a Packers away game in a light aircraft which crashed, adopted the brace position, put the cheesehead in there. The passenger flying with him suffered bad head injuries. He was fine. I just thought I'd throw that in there, explain that bite. Marv, you were saying while that was on, we heard the players being interviewed relentlessly there. How difficult is it to get through this week? It must seem to last forever.
It's different. It does. It's endless. You're so happy when game day comes, but the longest 3 hours of the week you spend is after you arrive at the stadium on game day. You just want to get it going now.
Well, I was going to ask Jim a follow-up question, but we're about to hear the national anthem. We have to stay seated, but the rest of the stadium is going to rise for Luther Vandross singing the national anthem. Here it is.
Award winner Luther Vandross.
So proudly we hailed
A rousing performance of the national anthem by Luther Vandross. I misled you. We did stand, joined in with the crowd. We're going to sit down now, though, while we take a commercial break, and we will be back with the kickoff of Super Bowl 31.
My Vectra pierced the hot night air like a bullet. I had a target to hit. No one had done a million before, apart from Big Mike, and that's why he was boss. Except up ahead of me was Jones. Jones was the best the other mob had. The heat was on. Then, it wasn't. Something told me there was big trouble ahead.
M4 westbound, 6 miles of stationary traffic.
The Vectra's unique traffic master spoke. My radio spat drum. Then I was free. Sorted. Jones ate jam. I got the bread. And Big Mike made the tea.
He who seeks to warm his heart with a goldfish is wise indeed.
The Goldfish credit card can save money on your British gas bill and keep your igloo warm all winter.
The next time business takes you to the United States, go with someone who will welcome you into their own home. American Airlines. Fly with us to nearly 200 cities. After all, no one knows the United States like someone who calls it home. American Airlines, something special in the air.
He who signs his name on the back of a goldfish will find his journey an easy one.
The Goldfish credit card, accepted from Asda and Boots to the Casbah in Cairo.
Hello?
It's me.
What? Is it time?
Don't panic. I'm just testing.
How do you feel?
I think I'm developing a blowhole.
You look wonderful. Womanly.
I can't tell what colour my pants are without taking them off.
Sensual, curvaceous.
My bra was designed for Russian shot putters. To keep their shots in.
All right, given you look a tiny bit bulbous.
What?
Let's stop after we've had 5.
We're only having 1. I'm never sleeping with you again after what you've just said.
Don't call me for half an hour unless it's an emergency.
This is an emergency. I'm fat.
You're not fat. You're just keeping our baby warm.
You always say the right thing. That's how I ended up like this in the first place.
Cellnet let people who can't be together talk. We're the big network.
Starting in tomorrow's 10p Times, you can enjoy a gourmet meal for just £5. See the free restaurant guide in tomorrow's 10p Times.
No arguments, Bill. Get us to Frankfurt by tomorrow morning.
No problem. How about by 10:30?
Can you guarantee 10:30?
UPS can guarantee 8:30 if we want. Costs us a bit more.
No, 10:30 is terrific.
Right then, consider it done.
Whatever happened to, oh, I don't think so, just not possible?
New system. But we can always go back to the old way, sir.
Oh, no, I'll consider it done.
Thank you, sir. You do that.
Guaranteed 10:30 and 8:30 services. 2 advantages of Europe's new delivery system, UPS. Consider it done.